Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 or the BTA Morning 5 because JBook's going to be joining. You know how that works. Great to see you guys live from Atlanta. Pretty nice view of the stadium. Let's see if you guys can check it out. That's a good view. You can see the stadium right there. Too bad I can't zoom in for you, but not a bad little view here. This hotel happens to be the fourth tallest hotel in the Western Hemisphere. I'm on the 49th floor, so I'm about halfway up. All right, so welcome into the show, guys. JBook's going to join in a minute. I'm going to let you guys know about a great deal you can get at Cornbread Hemp. Legal across the United States, even in states like Georgia where marijuana is not legal. Gummies aren't legal, but you know, Cornbread Hemp is legal across the United States. In 2024, it's been reported that more people now use THC than drink daily. More people are rethinking their relationship with alcohol, looking to drink less, but still have fun. Cornbread's organic THC gummies offer a better way to hang out, celebrate, or relax without the hangover. These are America's only USDA-approved organic THC gummies. Real THC, no synthetics. 100% legal hemp, fast and free shipping. Alcohol doesn't have to be the default anymore. Whether you're doing dry January or just looking for a healthier way to relax and have a guilt-free good time, you've got to try Cornbread's THC gummies. Right now, Bucknuts Morning 5 listeners can save 30% on their first order. Just head to cornbreadhemp.com/bucknuts. Use code bucknuts at checkout. Again, cornbreadhemp.com/bucknuts. Use code bucknuts at checkout. Bam. Well, this is awesome. I mean, 3 days away from the national championship game. I mean, like a month and a half ago, people wanted Ryan Day fired. Now he's on the precipice of a national championship. He'll be a legend in Columbus forever if they take care of business, which I think they will. No one's going to care. He's 1-4 against Michigan. It's funny hearing national people talk about it. They have no idea the pulse of Buckeye Nation. Kirby Smart's 1-6 against Alabama. You think Georgia fans give a shit about that? No. They care about those 2 titles he's won. Of course, they'd rather be 6-1 against Alabama. Of course, we'd rather be 4-1 against Michigan. But if Ryan Day wins that title 3 days from now, doesn't matter. I hope Michigan fans enjoy watching that game on Monday. Ohio State, Notre Dame. I mean, it couldn't work out any worse for them. It couldn't work out any better for me because I'm about to bring in the one and only JBook. He's going to bring the BTA to the show. My friend, great to see you. Do you love my makeshift studio here? I can't hear you. Am I on mute? No, I just can't hear. I can't hear my guy. I can read lips good. I can read lips. No, I'm kidding. Do what you got to do. I'll get you. We'll get rolling here. I'm going to give my prediction here in a minute as soon as I can hear you. There we go. Well, he'll figure it out. He's got this fancy equipment. See, JBook is. You guys saw he was at the Bellagio last. Chilling at the Bellagio as he is wont to do. He just visits like islands in the Pacific all the time. He's got all this fancy equipment. He'll figure it out. You can hear me, right? Okay, you can hear me. Let's get to some of the comments here. Now, your fan club wanted me to introduce the show as BTA. Welcome to the BTA Morning 5. So I did that. Buck Rational. See, we listen to the people. We'll get JBook back on a little bit, my friends. So the team arrives tonight pretty late. Like it's I have so much stuff to do as far as videos today for like CBS and 24/7 Sports. It's good that I got here. It's weird getting to the site before the team does, but they're not getting here till tonight. It's just weird that the way the playoffs have been. Like typically when there was a 4-team playoff, they would get to the semifinals. They'd have like 5 nights or something. They get to the national championship game, have like 5 nights. Everything's condensed. Like when they went to the Cotton Bowl, they were just down there for 2 nights. They're going to be here for 3 nights. So right there if you're just joining us, right there, national championship game. I'll show you guys later.
Testing.
There we go. We got JBook back.
You got me?
I got you. Do you like my view of can you see Mercedes-Benz Stadium over there?
I can see it back there. Let's go, Dave.
Not a bad view. College Football Hall of Fame's over there somewhere. All right.
Hey.
So, and that's for Media Day. We got Media Day tomorrow. I'm just glad I can hear your voice, my man. All right. Brass tacks. You ready for predictions before we get into like keys to victory?
Let's get it in here.
Let's do it. All right. As you're announcing, you know how the drill works. As you're announcing it, I'll post mine.
All right. So I've gone back and forth with this one, Dave. And I think a situation here to where Notre Dame's going to throw everything at the Buckeyes, especially offensively. I know Vegas has the over under, I think it's like 44. They had Notre Dame team spread at like 17.5, and Ohio State's point spread team totals like at 27 or something like that. I'm actually going to go Notre Dame 20, Buckeyes 31.
We're very close.
Yeah.
31-17.
See, I thought about the 17 as well, and the only reason I went with the 20, Dave, is because I can see Notre Dame just throwing everything that they have, because they know if the Buckeyes score more than 28 points, they can't win this football game.
Exactly. I almost hesitated to give them 17, but it's like things can happen. Like, I mean, this defense is so damn good for the Buckeye. Notre Dame's got a good defense too. Ohio State has a phenomenal defense. They come at you in waves. There's no weaknesses. I thought linebacker might be a concern entering the season, and Cody Simons turned into a freaking beast. I love it. Sonny Styles still might, have some plays here and there where it's not great, but he's been knocking people out. This defense is so good. Notre Dame's offense, even when healthy, is kind of limited, and they're banged up. I just don't see how Notre Dame's going to be able to move the ball consistently against this defense.
Yeah, I say it like this. I give them 20, but I'm probably being extremely generous here. And this is the reason why I say that. When you go back and watch that Georgia game, people talk about, Notre Dame, they beat Georgia. Notre Dame only crossed Georgia's 50-yard line one time in the second half of that game. Their two scoring touchdowns came off a kickoff return and Georgia fumbling the football on their 10-yard line. One play later, Leonard threw a touchdown to Bo Collins there. So 14 out of their 20-some points came off those two plays right there. You look at the Penn State game, Notre Dame 3 points in the first half, just absolutely just shut down. I've watched this Penn State game, Dave. I truly believe they were the better football team than Notre Dame. Penn State, the problem is with what cost them is they didn't make the plays when it actually mattered. 14-3 should have been the score in the first half in that Penn State game going into halftime. Katron Allen literally dropped. He did a flat route on the goal line. I think it was like 3rd and 3 or something like that. No one's on him. Like, he just flat out dropped the football, and Penn State settles for a field goal to start the game. It should have been easily 14-3 to get in there. You go back in there, the mesh routes with Penn State was wide open all day. Drew Allard was just absolutely horrible, just missing wide open guys. You watch the mesh route. I mean, Penn State wide receivers, they're suspect at best, to be kind. They even had some separation on those mesh routes, and they couldn't even throw them to Penn State's defensive back. Falls down. That was the longest touchdown for Greathouse. When the Penn State DB, they decide to go zero coverage. Penn State DB slips down, touchdown, Notre Dame. But yeah, you mentioned it. They're banged up. I think I heard this week that their starting wide receiver, Bo Collins, is questionable with a strained calf muscle as well. So you look at them, they were already extremely limited on the wide receiver spot right there. I think they're going to have to utilize the running backs. You mentioned Sonny struggling in the pass game with Aeneas Williams, their third running back. They use him quite a bit in the pass game. I think he had like 5 catches for like 65 yards, 64 yards against Penn State, where they matched him up against Penn State linebacker, and he just tore him up in the passing game. So you better believe that they're going to try to mimic a lot of what Texas was able to do, because I don't think they're good enough up front, especially with a makeshift offensive line, to say, hey, we're just going to dominate you in the trenches in the running game. we've all, as Ohio State fans, we all have watched how hard it is to get a functioning offensive line that's banged up to where you're mismatching personnel. And now you're talking about two starters that they lost in that Penn State game. And now you're going to throw in the guy at the left tackle who hasn't played there all year. And
Against Captain Jack and JT.
right. And then you look at their right tackle, Wagner, who's been there. He got absolutely destroyed by the Penn State defensive front. I think he graded out in the 50s on PFF as far as pass blocking. He gave up like five or six pressures and like 2 sacks, and 1 sack got called back because of hands to the face from the defensive tackle. So their right tackle's actually food as well.
Let's get down to keys to victory. I mean, I feel like a couple things come to mind for me, and I'll kick it to you. Like, first of all, as I talk about a lot, I'm a huge believer in the mental side of sports. I used to laugh when I was a kid, and coaches would tell us, sports is 90% mental and 10% physical. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You get older, and it's probably not 90-10. Because I'm pretty sure I could be mentally strong and still not be able to beat LeBron in basketball. But the mental side of sports is so huge, and the Buckeyes have been locked in. I feel like they're locked in. I also thought they were locked in Michigan week, so who knows? I feel like if they don't drink the rat poison, JBook, that's a key to victory. If they just come in like pissed off like they've been, like Notre Dame's in big trouble. If they come in like, we've got this made, look at us. We're the big bad Buckeyes. We're good. Right. No, they need to have that killer mentality. The second thing is the offensive line has played really well in the playoffs. Like I'm just so impressed with what Justin Fry and this offensive line is doing. Can they do it one more time? I think, now obviously turnovers. If Ohio State doesn't lose the turnover battle, I don't see them losing this game. So those are a few keys to victory. What are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have to worry about this team coming in overconfident. Everything that you have heard from them has been very respectful. They've been very complimentary towards Notre Dame. They've kind of went out of their way to praise about how tough Notre Dame is as far as a team that has faced a lot of adversity similar to them when it comes to injuries, and they just keep fighting. So I don't think this Ohio State team is going to come in overly confident. I do think they are locked in. They're laser focused, Dave. The key to me for this game, you got to start fast. And I said it last night. Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, do not let them bait you in to their game. You have to dictate the fight here. Okay, you go out, you jump on their ass right away. You get up on them 14-0, 14-3. They do not have the passing attack to claw out of that hole. Okay, you go in there, you're running delayed handoffs on first down right up to the guard's butt. You're playing into what they want you to do. Okay, they don't have the horses to go tit for tat, blow for blow with your offense. Okay, so you can't let them bait you into that. You got to play your game. You got to start fast. That's why if they win the toss, take the football. Okay, when you watch the Tennessee, once you watch the Oregon game, you came out and you hit them with a flurry of punches, and your defense is so good that you can bank to say, hey, if we go up 14-0, 14-3, okay, our defense is good enough to where we can still put the pedal down to the metal because we feel really good that our defense is not going to give up 28 points in this football game. So I just think it's a situation of starting fast. And you started to see a little bit in that Texas game, Dave, which kind of makes me just a tad nervous. You started to see Day and Chip get baited into what Texas wanted them to do because Texas really, besides the running backs in the passing game, they didn't do a whole lot moving the football there. And then you started to see Chip and Day, hey, toss to Judkins on 3rd and 1 when you can just quarterback sneak or tush push your 6'4", 235-pound quarterback who just needs to fall forward and he gets a first down. But, hey, let's run a toss to Judkins, and which absolutely killed the drive. Like, those are things when I talk about, hey, don't get baited in. Like, dude, just play smart football. Like, hey, take the quarterback sneak, live to fight another down, and keep the offense on the field.
I was irate when that happened.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure Chip would joke around and say, we were just setting them up for that 4th and 2 play later. Like, no, that wasn't a quarterback sneak. No, I'm joking. He wouldn't say that. Yeah, I thought, because it was Kaz Merrick made a really, your guy, Ohio University brother,
Yeah.
had a real nice play. He fought. He's a real good guy. I talked to him the other day when they had they brought some players out. I really like Kaz Merrick, and he's healthy now. He's a big boy, 6'6", 260. He's physical. He made a really nice play to just, it should have been like a 6-yard catch. He made it like 9 yards. I'm thinking, okay, boom, go up there and do a QB sneak, bam, easy first down. And they do that damn pitch. Although that was only the second worst pitch to a running back in that game. Right, Steve Sarkisian? Man, don't want to mess around with Caleb Downs. All right, special teams. That's another concern I have. Notre Dame good on special teams. Ohio State's actually, been good overall on special teams in the playoffs, but it's a concern of mine. A mild one, but a concern.
Yeah, they've been excellent on special team. That's kind of been their forte, and it's a typical Jim Tressel, Marcus Freeman led program.
Yeah.
Let's play great defense. We're not going to be fancy on offense. We're going to run the football and play, really good defense and have a solid special teams game. I know Jim Tressel went and talked to Marcus and the team over in the summer during summer camp, but when you watch them, it's very similar to how a Tressel-led football team plays. But I will say this, Dave. When it comes to Notre Dame's offense, you slow down the quarterback run and get them in 3rd and long situation, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble. I think Notre Dame on 3rd and long, they're at a 17% conversion rate, which is one of the worst in all of college football. You get them in 3rd and short, whereas 3rd and 2, 4th and 2, you better believe the old JT quarterback power is coming. That's their bread and butter. They've been really good at converting the first downs on the quarterback run game. But if you get them in 3rd and long, hey, now it's time. Let them defensive ends, really get after the quarterback at that point. The other side story here, and everybody's mentioned it in the comments, we got SEC refs in this game. This makes me a little nervous, Dave, because the last time we saw some SEC refs, they screwed us in that Fiesta Bowl against Clemson. This same officiating crew, they are extremely flag happy. They threw 23 flags in the Fiesta Bowl for 188 yards for the Boise State versus Penn State Fiesta Bowl. I mean, are we going to be looking at a situation here to where the refs are going to make the game about themselves? I mean, the SEC officiating as a whole has been pretty bad. I mean, even the Cover 3 crew for CBS listening to their pod yesterday, and once they found out that it was the SEC refs, it was like a collective laugh, like, oh boy, here we go with these guys. I mean, because that's been a talking point all year with them, is how bad the SEC officiating has become. And then you get the whole storyline where Paul Feinbaum saying everybody in the SEC is cheering for Notre Dame because the Buckeyes are now the big bad boys on the block that the SEC wants to see go down. Like, but yeah, I see what everybody in the comments are talking about when it comes to the referees. That is something that's going to be sticking in the back of my head, because if you're going to call it, hopefully that they call it both ways. But the last thing you want is this game to be completely overshadowed by the referees calling 20 penalties, which really kills the flow of the game. Because you look at that Texas game, Dave, it was close to being belt to ass for Texas, but Ohio State with the penalties really killed a lot of drives when they were marching. I mean, you're talking about a lot of 2nd and 20s, 3rd and 20s situations that just absolutely derails a successful drive.
So you're telling me there might be like a holding called against Ohio State's opposition? Like,
I'm not holding my breath. I'm not holding my breath.
Probably like 20 penalties, but no holding calls on Notre Dame.
Trying to get a holding call against an opposing offensive line, that's like finding Willy Wonka's golden ticket, Dave. Like it's a rarity, and I have to see it to believe it. If they do it, Dave, I'm going to be selling. I'm going to jump up like it's a touchdown. Like, we got a holding. It's been since September since someone has been called for a holding.
That's never happened in football. I would like to see somebody crunch the numbers, so I'm sure I would bet big. That's never happened in football, college football, or at the NFL, where a team goes this long without their opposition being called for holding. And it's just penalties overall. Ohio State's 134 out of 134 as far as penalties called against the opposition. What a hell of a coincidence. Whoever Ohio State plays just ends up being they play the cleanest football imaginable. Jack Sawyer, his guy has not been called for holding since I think he was in middle school. Is that right, JBook?
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating a little bit, I think. But I tell you what, it's sunny here in Georgia. It's going to be about 60 today. Good time to break out some Gooder sunglasses, my friends. So, I mean, right? I mean, come on. Look at this. It's not like exactly like the bowl trips we're used to where it might be like 70, but I'll take this, leaving like single degree temperatures in Ohio for a little 60-degree Georgia. I like it. So I'm glad I brought my Gooder sunglasses. Never leave home without them. There's so many different good ones you can pick from. I'm an Operation Blackout guy. If you want to support the show and try a pair, Gooder is giving Bucknuts Morning 5 listeners free shipping. You can go to gooder.com/Bucknuts. Use code Bucknuts for free shipping. Gooder offers 30-day money-back guarantee. You won't need it. And 100% satisfaction. You will be 100% satisfied. Again, that's gooder.com/Bucknuts and use code Bucknuts for free shipping. Not only do you get the free shipping, but it helps Gooder know that you guys are buying their product through hearing our podcast. So support our sponsors. We appreciate that. Get yourself some Gooder sunglasses.
I will say this, Dave.
Yeah, buddy.
This officiating crew, and they are extremely ticky-tacky, and they call everything. If you watch that, I remember watching that Fiesta Bowl, and I'm like, good Lord. I'm like, this game's going to be 4 hours because of the officials. The officials are throwing flags on everything. The one thing that worries me is Igbinosun and the DBs getting a little handsy, and they just calling everything, which would then give Notre Dame's offense, who may struggle, the opportunity to march down the field. That right there makes me a little nervous because these officials have the opportunity to really change the course of this game.
Now you got me worried. SEC officials. You know what? As long as the replay official is not Gerald Hodges from that Fiesta Bowl, I don't think he ever had to do anything after that because he got a lot of money on the side for that game.
Yeah.
Trust me.
See, that's why I say you got to start fast, man. Like if you're going to be,
leave no doubt.
You got to start fast. Like here's the thing. I don't want the whole talk about we're going to be a fight to the fourth quarter. This is going to be a fourth quarter. Listen, you're better than them. Get up on them, and you get into that fourth quarter with a little breathing room. It's not a tied game. It's not a one-score game because that's what Notre Dame wants. Notre Dame doesn't have the capability to run Ohio State out of that stadium. Their narrow path to victory is to muddy the waters, to get it into the fourth, to say, hey, this is our time to shine. That's the way they operate. You have to jump out on them extremely fast. If you do, then there's a chance that you go into that fourth quarter up 2 scores and you're feeling really good, regardless of how the referees are calling that game. You're feeling really confident to say, hey, we're going to finish strong here. You get in there, and then you're talking about we're 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and it's a tight ball game. Then you start to wonder, okay, how's this going to play out? Will there be a game-changing type of call? This is what Notre Dame wanted. This was their game plan all along, was to drag you into the deep waters to the fourth quarter with 1-score game on the line. You can't have it, Dave. That's why I say it's imperative that you start fast.
No doubt, man. I hope they lose the toss because I feel like if Ohio State wins the toss, it's just football coaches. They love that middle eight, you know. Yeah. And like at first I was like, yeah, that's become almost overblown now.
Right.
Ohio State actually has not done a good job in the middle eight during the playoffs, but they've been rushing people. So like, I'm with you 100%, man. I want them to get the ball first. And with this defense, if the other team gets Notre Dame's offense is limited, like we were saying earlier. If Ohio State's defense has to take the field first in the second half, okay, that's the best part of the team. And this offense is really good for the Buckeyes, but the defense is the strong point of the team. So, yeah, man, I'm with you, man. Take that ball. I don't know if Ryan Day will, but that'd be a ballsy move, and I hope he does it.
Yeah, and the one thing that Penn State, because you could keep in mind, Penn State ran for 200 on Notre Dame, and they still put up 24 points with 0 completions to the wide receivers. But the one thing that Penn State really had a lot of success with them, they made them run sideline to sidelines. Okay, Penn State just wasn't saying, "Hey, we're going to go man ball. We're going to go run right at you. We're going to go, rock fight, tit for tat right up the middle." Nah, even though Penn State was not very dynamic on the outside, they had a lot of success making them go sideline to sideline. With Ohio State's personnel, you make them boys run. You use the pass to set up the run. This is not a program or a team that's designed to be a run aggressive type of team to set up the pass. Like, no, you come out of your first 15 plays, 10 to 11 of those need to be pass plays. Once you start to see the hands on the hips, this right here from defensive linemen where they're sucking wind, that's when you unleash Henderson and Judkins in the run game with some of that counter action. Even use Will on the run game. Hopefully this week he makes the correct reads, because if he makes that correct read with Judkins against Texas, it's him and a DB one-on-one for a 60-yard touchdown. So you definitely got to make Notre Dame run sideline to sideline, because if you're running right at them, you're playing right into their hands.
A little interesting sidebar that I don't think is being talked about. Maybe it is, and I just haven't heard it. James Laurinaitis and Marcus Freeman are best friends.
Yeah.
Best friends, right? And they were starters together at Ohio State. They played in 2 national championship games back-to-back, lost both of them. Not any fault of James or Marcus. One of them now is going to win their first national championship game playing against the other.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I know James isn't the head coach, but James
Right.
is doing a great job with the line. Look what he's doing with Cody Simon.
They're playing out of their minds.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are playing absolutely out of their minds. The one thing though that really caught my eye is when you guys were talking to Jim Knowles this week, and Jim was hilarious. And I love when Jim Knowles is that loose and he's confident and he's smiling, good things tend to happen. But the one thing that caught my attention, Dave, he said down on that goal line, he goes, "We threw some things at Texas that nobody's ever seen before." And that got my wheels turning. It's like, okay, Jim. I was like, you've been holding some things back. So if he's been holding some things back, and he unleashed a couple of things against Texas that they've never seen on film before, you better believe that he's going to have some things ready to go, because I think it was you, Dave. I think you asked him about Caleb Downs on how they're utilizing him, and obviously they're utilizing Caleb Downs as a rover, very similar to how Miami used to back in the days with Ed Reed. And you asked him about that. I was like, good question, Dave. And he thought about it for a second. He was going to answer it, and then he goes, "I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to
get in anything tactical." I was like, okay, fair enough. Like I asked a follow-up because they only wanted us to ask one question. So I wanted to get a question in about Denzel, like how Denzel's doing. He said, yeah, they expect him to play. But he's like, that's above my pay grade. I thought that was funny too, man. I'm like, I was hoping he would just give us a dumbed down answer. Like, they're using him like a hybrid mic. That Ed Reed example is great. Bax likes the Troy Polamalu example. Listen, if Caleb Downs is playing like Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu, sign me up. I say that as a Bengals fan who those guys terrorized my teams throughout their careers, but great safeties. That play Caleb Downs made to shoot in there, he doesn't even get credit for the tackle on that 7-yard loss on the running play. Holy crap. Best safety tandem in the country, bar none. I love the way this defense is playing, man.
Yeah, it's actually really brilliant, because the way that they have Caleb Downs lined up, Dave, he's just a shade behind the linebackers. And because of his depth that he's at, he can't be accounted for in the box. So when you see the offensive linemen come up to the line, and they're pointing, they're communicating to each other like this guy can go, this guy's can go, this guy's coming. And so they're accounting for the defensive line and the linebacker that's in the box as far as their blocking scheme. But Downs is probably 4 to 5 yards behind the linebackers, and you can't account for him because there's no way that a lineman's going to be able to get up to his level with how athletic he is and the depth that he's setting. So he has free range to just play ball. And that's the great thing about how they're employing him, because not every football team in the country can utilize this. And when you do that, it's so confusing on the back end because you still got Jordan Hancock back there, but you have Downs kind of in that middle of the field. And if you watch it, you haven't seen a whole lot of teams actually throw in the middle of the field because they're so afraid of Downs. And that's why I think it's going to be critical here, because in order for Notre Dame to really move the football passing, with Downs playing that rover, they're going to have to force them to – it's going to force Notre Dame to have to throw outside the numbers. Now you're having to have a lot of confidence in Jermaine Matthews, Burke, and Igbinosun to lock up. Greathouse is probably, since Bo Collins is banged up, Greathouse is what you consider their wide receiver one.
Yep.
And so if you're having to say, hey, Greathouse is going to have to beat us to win this game, I'll take that bet all day, every day. Where's Malik Zaire with my bet?
Malik's just mad Ohio State didn't recruit him when he was right down the road. Listen, if there's a guy at Kettering Alter that Ohio State wants, they're going to recruit him. Right, Jeff Graham, right, Jerry Radzinski, right, C.J. Hicks, Nick Mangold. I could go on and on. They just didn't want you, Malik, and you're mad about it. Then you go to Notre Dame, you flame out there, have to transfer to Florida, played all of 2 games of Florida. Yeah.
I responded to Malik Zaire. I was like, I got $1,000 straight up with you. Because he was like, I'm taking all bets. Like he was trying to clown Will Howard. If it means that Will Howard and Ryan Day is going to be the ones to stop Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman from Destiny from winning their national championship, I'm taking all bets. I was like, I got 1,000 on it, Malik, straight up. Put your money where your mouth is. He hasn't responded to me.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me. He just disappears when you want him to put his money where his mouth is. All right, I'll get you out here on this. Any parting thoughts, my friend?
Hey, BTA, leave no doubt. Get up on them and hammer them boys. You're the better football team. You have regardless of what Notre Dame wants to say, you have an advantage pretty much all across the board. Go get it, boys. It's right here. The opportunity is right here. You're a 7.5, 8.5 point favor. Basically, Vegas says you have more than a 70% chance to win this football game. Leave no doubt.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame's they're a good team. I have respect for them, but them being banged up, I feel like Oregon's a better team. Yeah. Texas is better. I think the Buckeyes are going to take care of business, man. All right, buddy. I hope to talk to you after the game, but if not, I understand. But if we can get you on What We Learned Live, that'll be a win for Buckeye Nation. So after hopefully a win. Thanks as always, JBook. I appreciate it, man. I love how you started the BTA stuff. We got to get shirts made. BTA.
We got to get the shirts made, Dave.
We got to get the shirts made.
When you come out here for spring break, man, I might have to try to get you some BTA. We got to get us some BTA shirts, man.
We should seriously do that. It's going to actually spring training, not spring
that's
break.
what I mean, spring training.
Yeah. I'll be there next month, end of the last week of February. I'll be down in your neck of the woods. We'll have to hook up. One of the games the Reds are playing is at the Diamondbacks training facility in Tempe. So I'll probably head over there for that. All right, buddy. Appreciate it, man. All right.
Talk to you later.
Thanks, JBook. He's the man. He is the man. Hopefully I can talk him into coming on What We Learned Live. I'll be doing it from that stadium right there. If you guys are just tuning in, stadium. Hopefully you can see it. It's right there. Hopefully I'm angling that correctly for you guys. Right there. So pretty good view of the stadium from my room. All right. One more thing to do, then I got to go get my media credentials. All right. I'll let you guys know about Joy Mode. Patrick Murphy's favorite thing in the whole world. Joy Mode is the all-natural sexual performance booster, and we have a great deal for you guys. Joy Mode features just 4 simple, proven ingredients. Unlike prescription options that involve doctor visits and managing refills, Joy Mode provides a straightforward, effective solution. Join over 200,000 men who trust Joy Mode to boost their performance without the side effects. If you're looking to take your game to the next level, visit tryjoymode.com. Use code Bucknuts at checkout for 20% off single purchases and 30% off subscription orders. That's tryjoymode.com. Use code Bucknuts for 20% off single purchases and 30% off subscription orders. tryjoymode.com. Use code Bucknuts for 30% off. All right, my friends. Dan and I will be with you Monday morning for the Bucknuts Morning 5. And then we'll be with you late night on Monday for What We Learned Live. So I'm hoping to talk Dan into kicking off the show for me, and then I'll take over the proceedings at some point. But we'll see. We'll see about that. Really, like, that's actually probably true. This is actually a good point. He likes his. You guys know I'm joking about Pat. He knows I'm joking about that. Pat's my guy. Pat's actually doing the College Football Hall of Fame tour right now, and I might have done it if I didn't have to do the Bucknuts Morning 5, but we've been there before. We went there 2 years ago. It's pretty cool. I mean, it used to be near Kings Island. You guys remember that when the College Football Hall of Fame was like right by Kings Island, like down the road from Kings Island. And like nobody even knew about it. Then they moved it to South Bend, but like not a very big town. South Bend. Really having it here in Atlanta is a good idea. And they did a good job with it. And the College Football Hall of Fame is right next to the stadium. So, and that's where Media Day is going to be tomorrow. So keep it locked to Bucknuts. We're going to have Media Day tomorrow. Ohio State goes early, which we on the beat we're not a fan of. The Notre Dame gets the later one. So we're going to have to get up early. No, but we have Media Day. It begins at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and it's really cool because everybody on the team's available. So all these young guys that we never get a chance to talk to, we get a chance to talk to tomorrow because they make everybody on the team available. This isn't Ohio State deciding we're going to bring out this guy, and you're going to take what you can get. Well, we get to get anybody we want. Now, it's only an hour, but between the three of us, Patrick, Steve, and I, we'll get a bunch of guys. What we'll do, we'll have a draft. Seriously, Patrick, Steve, and I will have a draft tonight about guys we want to talk to. We'll draft, and then we'll split it up, and we'll get to as many guys as we can. That way we're not double dipping. We'll seriously have a draft where I have end up with 12 guys I want to talk to. Steve will have 12, Pat will have 12, something like that, of guys that we typically don't get. Like the star players will be at a podium, and that'll be transcribed through the CFP. But then you can go around and just do one-on-ones with guys that are – some of these freshmen are going to be like, really, you want to talk to me? Like, yeah, I do. Yeah. You're going to be a big part of the future. I remember 10 years ago, all those guys that were redshirting, for the national championship game, like Terry McLaurin, guys like that, interviewing them, thinking, maybe one day they're going to be a big part of this team. Now, Terry McLaurin, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. So, yeah, it's going to be cool interviewing some of these guys tomorrow. And really appreciate you guys. Another live audience, probably because JBook puts butts in the seats. I'm just along for the ride, but very large live audience. Really appreciate you guys. Appreciate everybody who is listening to the podcast only version. Can't thank you guys enough. Again, Dan and I will be with you Monday morning, and we'll be with you again Monday after the game for What We Learned Live, and then we'll have wall-to-wall coverage. Buckeyes fly in tonight. Patrick's going to cover their arrival at the airport. Coach Day is going to be made available around 7:30 tonight. Those tend to be, it says 7:30. It could be 8:30. Who knows? Especially at an airport. So we're getting Coach Day tonight and then Media Day tomorrow. Head coach's press conference Sunday, game Monday. Let's go. Appreciate you guys. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Go Bucks. And thanks to JBook.